Hello everybody, this is JD again. Well, we've got another presidential debate from the Republicans. They talked about minimum wage and none of them talked about what minimum wage actually does. More than anything else, it raises the poverty level. By raising the poverty level, those who don't get any raises get closer and closer to the poverty level, or your dollar buys less money than what it did before. It's enough about minimum wage. What about China and the Pacific Pact? Well, China's not part of it, so there's an invitation, but other than that, and a few other things they talked about that doesn't make sense. I heard Trump again yelling the wall, which will accomplish absolutely nothing, but he likes the wall. So, what am I going to talk about? Nothing that they talked about, because they're focusing outside the United States. I want to know why. Every night when I turn on the TV and watch the news, I hear about somebody shooting somebody else. Why are we killing each other? I hear about students being bullied. I hear about education being ripped off. I hear about people being hungry. I hear about the homeless. I hear about how the system says this must be done this way, and who cares what it does to the people? That's all I seem to hear about. I don't hear about what is needed to be done. As president, I'm not going to focus my attention about outside the borders of the United States. Mind you, I will be concerned and I will watch. But that is not where my attention will be. My attention will be why is children in this country going to bed hungry. My attention will be why are people losing their homes that they have worked so hard for and now it's going into foreclosure. My attention will be why are these families living on the street when they should be in a home. Why is it a student that goes to school must use a shelter as their address? A homeless place for their home address. There will always be homeless people. Some people want to be homeless. They don't want the responsibilities of a house. They don't want the responsibilities of a family. They don't want none of that. They wish to live the carefree life. They should be allowed. But what about those who don't want to be? What about those who are so frustrated they have no idea how to get out of the mess they're in and they strike out with violence? What about those that are in depression to a degree that very few of us could even fathom, imagine, perceive? What about those whose both parents are not working a full-time job, but both working 2 full-time jobs at less than half the salary they used to get just to make ends meet and are still faltering? What about the economy within this country, not outside? I don't care about manufacturing in China. I don't care about manufacturing in Europe. I don't care about manufacturing in Africa. I care about the economy within this country. For example, why doesn't every car that is fully assembled inside the United States and its territories have a seal on it with an American flag? That will tell the customer immediately that car was built inside the United States. Oh, probably because most of the big 3 cars are not built inside the United States, so therefore most of them would not have that flag on it. You'd be surprised what cars are built in the United States and which ones are not. How we can go and start creating new wealth within our nation so it is distributed fairly. Not the rich get richer and richer and richer and the middle class gets poorer and poorer, but the middle class also develops. How the union and the people can work together, and the manufacturing to increase the economy of our nation, to increase the manufacturing growth, to increase the peoples. You don't make the United States great by going around with a big bat hitting everybody in the head. You don't do that. You make the United States of America great when the American people inside the United States of America feels they are great. When the people in this country feel they matter to this government. We care more about children in Syria than we do care about our own very children. At least the government does. Yes, they're in a war zone. Yes, they have problems. I'm not going to disagree. And we are adding to that problems. Instead of letting the people themselves settle, we go into one side or another. Oh, we like you guys, so here's a bunch of guns. Go shoot it up. Go destroy your country. Go tear your country apart. No. As our country is crumbling from within. Why do things like Ferguson happen in this country? Why does women get raped on university colleges all the time? Why do men get raped on university colleges all the time? These things are wrong. Why are people shooting each other? Someone says the wrong word, and the next thing you know, we got a gunfight at the OK Corral. Why? Why are we not focusing on how to fix the problems within this country? That's what I'm all about. You, each and every one of you. How to fix what is the problem with immigration instead of coming up with another, not the problem. Most people I have talked to, and I mean most, do not object to the 11 million immigrants here. They do object to them not paying taxes. They do object for that reason more than anything else. There's people who hire them that still need them. And there's people who see them and they object to the social programs drain that they place upon our citizen without contributing to the taxation. These are things that our nation needs to focus on. These are things our nation needs. You notice they changed global warming to climate change because I've kept talking about climate change for years. And did anyone tell you that Antarctica is now growing the ice sheet? Why did they not tell you that? It's also, there's some indication that the ice sheet at the North Pole is also growing. Why did they not tell you that? The two ends are running lower temperatures now than they used to, constantly. And it's going to slowly creep down the whole planet. Why are they not telling you that? Why are they not telling you about alternative ways vice fighting the pipeline? Why are they not talking about the possibility of hydrogen? How about this one? Why are they not talking about the federal government not criminalizing marijuana, but leave it up to the states, as the states may choose? Why are they not telling you how many congressmen and senators have used marijuana, or presidents have actually used marijuana? And yet they keep it as a criminal activity to throw you in jail. Why is our prisons full of so many people which most criminal activity would not be considered criminal in other countries throughout the world? Yet the real criminals are running around free. No room in their jails. See, I do not believe the president is somebody who goes around telling the world how they're going to live. I think the president, personally, is a person who listens to the people of the nation and provides guidance and direction for our government to accomplish what the people of our nation wants, not what the rest of the world wants. To see to it that our children get all they're deserved as this nation can provide. Not just an education, but the best education. Not just to make sure they don't go to bed hungry, to make sure they don't know what hunger is. Not to have them fear the fears they have because mom and dad is worried about losing the house. Not to know what it's like to have no home for home. These are what we should be trying to do in our nation. We should be trying to build the people, provide them with decent, strong, solid jobs. Oh, that's distribution of wealth. Well, if we're distributing wealth, we have to create wealth, which means our economy must change. If we create wealth, we distribute wealth, people are going to be spending more. Consumption, we got the cycle then. That's what we should be aimed at. Fixing a broken, completely incapable of properly functioning taxation system. Go away from the payroll tax, which by the main body of the Constitution is illegal. They had to add the income tax amendment because the Constitution says no to direct levy tax. And go to sales tax. Then every single person in this nation, whether you're here legally or illegally, will pay their taxes. Whoa, every single person? Yes, every. And that would eliminate a lot of the problems with illegal aliens because they would be paying. But it also gives an added, because they're here illegal, they will be paying more in taxes. Because there's some things that, it's a blanket tax, there's some things that should not be taxed. So everyone gets a refund check, including the illegal aliens. But for the illegal aliens to get that check, they got to notify the United States government. You notify the government, we bring the check, cash the check, put them on a plane, give them the rest of the money, and send them home. Or they don't notify us, and they pay on taxes and more taxes than a citizen pays. So they pay a higher tax rate for being here illegally. These are just a few of focusing within our nation. This is the president's position to focus, to help the nation, to guide the nation, to give the nation direction, to force Congress to serve the people of the nation and nothing else. For the people are the masters of this nation. They are the rulers, each and every one of them. But Congress is not listening to them. They listen to the lobbyists. And the two biggest lobbyists I know are the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. They are lobbyists. None of them belong in our Congress. Only the voice of the people. That's another job of the president, to see to it that Congress follows the will of the people by providing direction. Our president has to be much more than just a leader. He has to be a great listener, to be able to listen to all the people of the nation. Our greatest president was noted for just that fact. George Washington was noted for always standing on his side, listening to what is being said, to listening to what's going on, and then he provided direction. He provided a course of action. He was there for the people, and that's what the president needs to be. There for the people. Yes, I'll be concerned with the Middle East, and I will deal with it as need be. Maybe a little less stealing might fix a lot of problems. Yes, I'll be concerned with the economy of the world, but it's the economy of the individual family that will be my main concern. That the individual family inside the United States has what it needs. Yes, I'll be observing economy throughout the world. But it's the economy of this country that must be the job of the president. Like George Washington said, treaties limit the ability of a nation to perform its values, its goals, its founding foundation. And I will look at all treaties. And I will not waver from the principles of this nation and its people. I'm a firm believer that each nation has a right to decide their course of direction, their course of action, who shall dictate over them or rule or be their leader. As the same as I am your leader. And I do not feel that another nation has a right to interfere with that. Go into a country. Am I wrong? Well, let's look. What's the Middle East look like now? Was a sort of stable area. Not real stable, but sort of. Now it's a volatile volcano. Why? Because the first Bush, the second Bush, both had to go in and destroy a nation. Now I understand the first Bush because the treaty with Kuwait pushed them back. There was no reason for the second Bush. This mess in the Middle East is because we've taken a stable government, whether we agreed with the type of government, whether we agreed with the techniques, a stable government, tore it apart, and now we have this quagmire they call the Middle East and ISIL. Would I have gone in Afghanistan? Wouldn't need to. The way I would have handled it, it would have been quick, dirty, and rotten. Just as dirty and just as rotten as the Twin Towers, but 1,000,000 times more. That's what I would have done. We don't need wars. There's another thing, income tax. Why do we have the income tax? In case of emergencies. Well, we're at war. We're at war because our federal government has too much money. It is wasteful with its money. Instead of directing it where it needs to be, they are directing it to govern, rule, and direct the whole wide world. When now Congress can't even solve the problems of this nation. Our Congress cannot work with the states to handle the situations within each state. No two states are alike. No two states have the same problems. No two states deal with the same things. But our Congress gives them a blind ear, a deaf ear, a blind eye. So you see, people, my focus is not going to be China. It's not going to be Russia. It's not going to be Britain. It's not going to be Africa. It's not going to be the Middle East. My focus is going to be you, the people. I will be concerned and watch. And if we need be, deviate from the actions that I am most primarily concerned with. That's you, the people. To see how to build a great nation, you must first have a great people. And right now, the American people are frustrated, aggravated, feel deserted, don't know where to turn, working 3 times harder than ever and getting a lot less, and see no bright future for them or their children. We have an education department that is more corrupt and more screwed up. Colleges that are more concerned about football games than they are about the students being treated. I mean, you got this one college that's in the news. Until this football team refused to play because of racial problems within that college, they didn't take concern. But once they're going to lose all those millions of dollars from that football game, oh, now they could listen. That's education. That says money talks and nobody walks. That doesn't say education. And the purpose of education is to produce a individual that is to add to and improve the society within which we all live. Not one to be toting a gun around shooting everybody around the corner to fighting. And our police force, quit acting like militias, dictators, Gestapo. You're shooting first, killing innocent people, then you're saying, oops. Our police force should understand they are not the military. And they are not in a war zone. They created this zone they're in. They should ask questions first. And the last resort would be, the very, very last resort would be to shoot. I mean, how many of you all yell, policemen out there all yell, war should be the last resort this nation goes to. Yet you as a policeman, you make that the very first step. You pull out your gun and start shooting. Hey, how many times I said war is hell, peacetime it's murder? Same thing. Pulling out a gun and shooting. In war it's hell, and in peacetime it's murder. So you see, we don't need a president to worry about China. We don't need a president to worry about Russia. We need a president to worry about you and this nation. We need a president who's more concerned about how you're going to take care of and build your future. Because only in the building of your future is there a future for this nation. That's what we need. A president who can take the people and the voice of the people and slam it right in front of Congress and make them start realizing they are the servants. Both the House and the Senate are the servants of you, the people, and no others. And that the people are the masters and the rulers of this government. And I, as president, is only a go-between from the people to the government. I must provide positive direction for our nation. I must provide goals for our government to ensure that the people have and get all that they need to produce an extremely productive society. That's the job of the president. As a leader of the United States of America. Like I said, my 3 promises. Bring your word to the federal government. 2, to make the federal government understand you are the bosses and they are to listen to you. And you shall dictate how the government shall go. And Congress is not to dictate to the people, for the people are not the servants of the government. They are the masters of the government. And 3, to provide leadership. And that's where the direction and goals and accomplishments will come from. Leadership is a lot more than standing up in front and saying, I'm the boss. Because the truth is, a true leader is not a boss. The true leader is the one who provides the leadership that's needed for the nation. So this is JD. This is what I'm about. It's up to you now to get this out. It's up to you now to decide, hey, do we want a man in the White House, doesn't matter whether it's man or woman, but do we want a man in the White House who understands our problems and whose main concern is us, the people, not the rest of the world. And who's going to provide direction that is needed to get our voice to the government and for the government to start realizing we, the people, need help. That we find ourselves at wit's end at trying to keep this country together. Find ourselves at wit's end to provide for our families. Find ourselves at wit's end to make ends meet. So, that's what I'm offering you. A president, not a politician. A statesman, not politically orientated. You have to decide. But you have to go out there and start telling people of me. You got to go through your states and start getting signatures to get me on the ballot. You have to help me set up a campaign program that we together can and will pull our nation out of this despicable, damaging, self-destructive grip that our government has on us and start producing a nation that is there for its people so that they can enhance their life, they can develop their abilities, they can produce and become productive. And with that, our nation will stand great among the world. When they say, wow, look at what the American people did and how they have built a government that works for the people. And we've been an example to the world, not a dictator to the world. Thank you. This is JD. You all got to decide. Do you want to take on this task to fixing this nation? Are you strong enough? Are you powerful enough? Are you an American deep inside who cannot accept the status quo as it is and say, no, we're going for it and we're going to do it. And we're going to fix this nation because only through us will it happen. Sorry, people. That's what I'm giving you. Direction and guidance. And we together can do it. Thank you for your time. This is JD, presidential candidate for 2016. If you want to look at all the other things about taxes, if you want to see how I feel about foreign affairs, go to YouTube, where this video is coming from. They're all there. Separation of church and state, I'm a strong believer of that. Check that out. My religious views, my condemnation of Supreme Court ruling on the free exercise of religion, by thus ruling on prayer in school. There are no grounds there. The ability of the states to govern the states and be allowed the states to govern, and how to help the states to govern themselves, and how the federal government should be truthful and honest to the people instead of hypocritical fools. Because every single congressman and every single senator that has ever touched a marijuana cigarette is nothing more than a hypocrite and a liar by enforcing the marijuana laws. Me, I never used the stuff. I did touch it in my hand as I crumbled it up a couple of times. But I feel that marijuana should be treated as alcohol, the same, and let each state govern how it shall be. Matter of fact, the most horrible thing I read on my Facebook the other day was about a woman who's fought cancer several times, who has now have another disease, and marijuana can help her. But because of the federal law, she can't get the type of marijuana she needs easily. She can't smoke because her lungs are damaged. She can't inhale, but there's oils and stuff that she can use. But she don't know how to get them because our federal government is in the way. We, the people, must understand that we are the federal government. and we must fix our problems. That was deplorable. It was very deplorable. And I think we, the people, need to address our education, our infrastructure. When you hear about people driving across a bridge and it collapses because there was no money to repair, but yet we're building roads throughout the world. Disgusting. Responsibility? The government to start accepting responsibility for its actions? When you hear of a woman being shot out of pier by an illegal alien because he found a gun that was left in a car by an FBI agent and no one was held responsible. Or a police officer who takes a male police officer who grabs, throws around a female minor in a school in front of everybody. And what's he get? Fired because they want to make it racism? Where he should be in jail for touching that female because she was underage, for assaulting that female because she was underage. And I could go on and name many of the offenses he did. There was no female teachers in that school building? Sorry, people. You can't convince me of that either. So, as you see, there is a problem, but we the people have to address it. And that's what I'm here for. We need to realize it's us that must fix our nation, not a politician with false promises. Thank you. This is JD. Oh, by the way, I'm not going to give you a false promise. Can't. I don't believe in them. You have a nice day.